Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today is such a preview, that is the Chinese obviously, the Russian Grand Prix preview. We're going to have a couple of points today, so is Rosberg to strike again and go for another win in a row? Are Ferrari to finally show full potential and therefore aim for a win and actually achieve a win? Is Hamilton to strike back and remain the only driver to have won the Sochi Russian Grand Prix? Is the Haas going to be back like in the first two Grand Prix of the season? Or are they going to be down like in China? Is Renault going to improve after Palmer's disastrous Chinese Grand Prix? Palmer finished last and his car was shit. So let's aim to our first point. Is Rosberg to strike again? Well, I'd say no. It's true, he has potential, he's got everything on his side, he's got that streak of wins that has a positive psychological impact on him, and a very negative on the other drivers. But at the same time, they're not going to let him run away like that forever, and I think the Russian Grand Prix is when it's going to turn around. Either Ferrari or Hamilton are going to win this one. So, in my opinion, Rosberg is not going to strike again. Now, will Ferrari finally show their full potential and therefore achieve a win? To be honest, Ferrari have had a lot of bad luck. Because the Australian Grand Prix, without that safety car, the race was theirs. The Bahrain Grand Prix, Vettel blowing up, that obviously reduced their chances. Raikkonen did pretty well though to achieve P2, so it wasn't that bad. Well, China, we all know what happened with the collision between the two, and Vettel still managing to finish P2, and Raikkonen was P5, I believe. Yeah, P4, P5. I think P5, yes. So their car has potential, their car is drivable, and compared to Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, Ferrari are a lot better in traffic. You know, they've got that almost leading car, but at the same time they're still able to overtake cars, whereas we saw Hamilton in China. Of course, he had that issue with the front wing that damaged his bodywork, like on the low of the car, but still he was unable to pass Massa with DRS. Even if he would exit the corner like straight after him, he just on the back straight he just couldn't capitalize and overtake him. And we've seen Raikkonen jump him easily, as Ricciardo as well, and then they jumped Massa easily. So this shows the Mercedes in traffic has issues. So in the case Mercedes end up with an issue and they not get traffic, both of them, Ferrari have got an open door to win. And even if it doesn't, if Ferrari manage to get P3 and P4 for example in qualifying, and then eventually, even if they stay behind at the start, or if they get the pole and then they get jumped, they still have a chance in my opinion, because they have a racing car, they don't have a sprint car which is unable to overtake other people, you know, like it goes straight and like as if it was on rails, you know, like the train catches up another train, I can't overtake. Whereas the Ferrari, it's more like an airplane, it catches an airplane, it just goes around it. And so yeah, I know this little metaphor was a bit weird, but I hope you got my point. Moving on now, is Hamilton to strike back and remain the only driver to win the Russian Grand Prix? No. I have to say, after that disastrous start, Hamilton is going to strike back, but he's not going to get the win. He's going to get a solid podium, for example, P2 I think, or P2, P3, but and it would be a solid podium, not like racing at the limit and then just catching up the last corner of the last lap. No, I think he's gonna make a good podium. There's going to be a new winner of the Russian Grand Prix this year, in my opinion. Moving on to our next point is Haas going to be back like in the first two Grand Prix. It's quite difficult to say because obviously China was a lot of. It's a complicated track. I mean, there's speed traps and then like there's a lot of top speed at the back straight and and then the pit straight, but at the same time, there's quite some tricky corners. That in Russia, it's a completely different track. It's I don't know. It's like Melbourne but faster and more open, I would say. So Haas back like in the first two Grand Prix. I would say maybe somewhere in between what they achieved in China and what they achieved in the first two Grand Prix. So I would say about just scoring the last points. Not doing much more, but scoring decent points. Yeah. Now, our last point that we wanted to discuss was Renault improving after Palmer's disastrous Chinese Grand Prix. Renault had a shit Chinese Grand Prix. We've seen, even before the Grand Prix in itself, they had a lot of issues with the suspensions as the tyres blew up and stuff. So it's a tricky comeback for Renault. They're coming. Their return to the sport is very tricky, and it's going to be difficult. If they can improve, I think it's still not going to be enough for points. And yeah, coming back to Ferrari, because I just remembered a little something is they were discussing on eventually bringing up the engine updates, the power unit updates. They were discussing for Europe, but now they've decided to maybe decided to anticipate it to Sochi. So we might have a new, not a new power unit, but improvements with a better car eventually and a developed car. So that could be very interesting to see if they've actually managed to achieve well their R&D testing and spent their tokens correctly to actually gain even more on Mercedes and be closer. So this concludes my little Sochi preview of the Russian Grand Prix 2016. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and share the video if you liked it. I've been Dorian. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.